what Dr. DeWan prefers is that we get the items in the forms from the intranet, and then we use that instead of using an item that's saved anywhere in our files or desktop.
Perfect.
So basically we're using a live document that's from the intranet. So when I save that, it looks fine on my desktop, but when I put it into DocuSign, it's blank.
Okay, so we're going to try that one. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the intranet. And what was the particular form that you were looking for?
The purchase order change order. It's under business.
Forms.
Business.
Okay. And purchase order change order. That's it right there, right?
Yep.
Okay, so now this is a techie thing, so forgive me if I'm saying something that maybe is obvious. I'm just going to explain it anyways. This right here, this link goes to, it doesn't go to a live form. It goes to a form that's just simply stored on our web server. And so if I were to click on it right here and open that link right here, I can save this. And when I save it to my computer, that is the exact same form as on the web server. So there's no liveness of a PDF form, if that makes sense.
Okay, I'm just seeing the internet up at the top, in the address bar, so that's why.
Yeah, so
live.
I know. It's kind of a difficult thing to understand, but that way, the reason why I say that is if I minimize everything, and let's see if I can grab this, and if I open up that form, which was the purchase order, this is the exact same form. It doesn't have the internet reference, and does that make sense so far?
Yeah.
Okay, so the one thing that I'm not going to do is I'm not going to fill out the form here, which is kind of a little different. It's something that's that we're not used to because we normally fill it out right there on our computer or on that internet site, and we print it. What we're going to do is we're going to take that form, and I'm just going to go ahead and log into DocuSign, and I'm going to log in with Cindy's account because her and I, we basically share the account like a service account. And I'm going to go ahead and upload that form in exactly the way it is with nothing typed into it, and we'll see what happens. So I'm going to go ahead and start with a new envelope. I'm going to upload a document. Hey, that's me.
Nice
Go
picture.
to so there's the PO change order, right? Okay, we found form fields for PO change order PDF. Yay. So that means that it recognizes there's something going on. So then we're going to end up, let's put the people's names in here. I'm just going to say we're going to send it to Cindy. We're going to send it to David. And there we go. And let's say Cindy doesn't need to sign. Well, yeah, let's leave it as needs to sign. Let's say they both need to sign. All right, so we're good for that one. I'm going to set the sending order, make sure that she's 1 and David's 2. And on the bottom right-hand corner, I'm going to click next. And what it's going to do right now is it's looking for those fields that were in that form that were online. And it says, what would you like to do? So let's go ahead and assign those fields. I'm going to assign them all for, in my case, let's pretend that Cindy is the one that knows the information. So I'll assign them all to Cindy. And then let's go ahead and click confirm. And do you see how all those fields that were online now become fillable forms in Adobe Acrobat?
Okay.
So Adobe, I'm sorry, I should say Adobe, I messed that one up. In DocuSign, so DocuSign actually wrote their code to recognize when we have fillable forms. Now, let's just, for example, say that, I'm trying to think of a good one. Let's just say that all this information here on the funding stuff. Let's say that I had more than Cindy was going to review this one, and there were multiple people. And let's say Cindy has no idea what to put in the funding source, but David does. This is just an example. You wouldn't want Marianne to be doing this one. Let's say you have 3 people in the routing, right?
Yeah.
What you could do is if you click and hold the mouse down up above what you want to select and drag around it, I could see how it highlights those things.
That's for that person to enter that information, correct?
Well, what I could do is I can highlight that, and I don't know if you can see on the top right of my screen. Maybe I'll minimize it so you could. Do you see how on the top right here it says it's assigned to Cindy Tran?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to change that to David. And so now when I click over here or I click anywhere else, you see how the color of those fields now are the color for David. And I could even see up here on the left-hand side, if I click on David, David's blue. Those are the fields he needs to fill out. So you don't necessarily have to have one person fill the entire form out. You could say, oh, I got 4 people. I need one person to fill this section out, one person to fill the next section out, and so forth. So when Marianne finally gets it, we could now add a signature right to, let's say if she's the branch chief, acting as the branch chief right here. And then there we go. And then as far as the date goes, I'm going to even do this one better. I don't need these. And the reason why I don't need these is because DocuSign has a way of doing that automatically. I could just go over to the left-hand side, look for the date field, and there it is, date signed. And I drop that right on this field. Now let's say I wanted Cindy to sign it too, okay? I'm going to put date signed right here. And let's say Cindy is acting as the manager. And I'll put her signature right here. And I know Cindy's going to say, wait, Jim, don't leave. Because both these signatures and dates are in David's color. I'm going to click on this signature. I'm holding my I think control key down so I can click on this one. Oh, I guess it's shift key down. Shift. So I held the shift key down to select 2 things, and I'm going to reassign those to Cindy. So now when Cindy signs, it will put the date that she signed. When David signs, it puts his date. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And then I'm going to do one more thing because I'm just like OCD like this one. These are not aligned. I highlight both of those. I click align, and that looks a lot better.
Got it.
All right, so let's see if I can kind of repeat what we're doing in this little training video. Is the question is, when we have fillable forms that are on the intranet, how can we utilize those forms? And in the past, what we would have done is we would have filled the forms out, printed them, and then staffed them.
Mm-hmm.
What we're going to do now is we're going to upload those fillable forms into DocuSign. DocuSign will recognize what needs to be filled in, and then you can assign each of the sections to whoever it is that you want to assign. And by all means, you could assign the entire form to the first person.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what your role is, but sometimes, like when in Cindy's role, Cindy actually would have been the one that would have had to fill everything out.
Yeah.
So,
Me.
and you, Cindy, am I correct? Can you assign yourself a task? Could you route it to yourself?
You could.
Yeah. So Bernadette, that's a really, I would do that. I would have added my name, like right here. If I were to do that one, let's go ahead and put at the
Be the
bottom,
first
add
person.
recipient.
Mhm.
I'll put Jim Carrillo, and I'm gonna change me to 1.
Mhm.
Change Cindy to 2, change David to 3. And then that way, when I go back over here, I could now reassign all of these things to me.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll change that one to Jim Carrillo.
And does
And
it
so-
matter that Cindy's not signing?
Oh no, yeah, that's a good point. Is when I identify someone as a signer,
Mm-hmm.
you don't have to have them do anything other than just open it up and look at it, and that's good to go.
They won't
So-
get reminders that they need to sign.
They will still get reminders. So for example, Cindy does that when Cindy had to send like 30 documents to David Wu.
Mm-hmm.
And can you imagine if David would have gotten 30 documents, 1 in the morning, 3 in the middle of the morning? He would have driven him crazy.
Yeah.
So what she does is she sends it out for everybody's signature. And then after they sign it, it all comes back to Cindy, and she waits until everybody's ready. And then she'll email David or call him up and say, hey, David, get ready. You're about to get 30 documents. And then she goes and opens all of them up and releases them to David.
Okay.
So that's how she controls that.
All right. I was just wondering if she has to be a signer since she's being assigned a signer position instead of like a creator or, you know. that sort of-
Oh, you know what? That's weird. You're right. So in our roles, like in your role and Cindy's role, you definitely are a creator of the document, but you can
Mhm.
also add yourself as a signer of the document. And
Okay.
even though all you're doing is really just filling out the document, that's fine. They just use the terminology.
Okay.
All right. I hope that helps.
Yes. Thank you.
Good.
Looking
All right.
forward to
Thanks for
seeing that.
now we got a training video I can post.
Yay.
All right. Talk to you later.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.